Hi students, this is A. Mandari Kumar Rajesh. In this video, we are going to discuss a topic called algae. Algae means seaweed. In Latin, algae means seaweed. Algae are a primitive group of plant or a simplest form of plant group because they do not have true stem, true leaf and true root. Their plant body is called as thallus. Thallus means the plant body is not differentiated into root, stem and leaf. 2/3 of our Earth's surface is covered by ocean and sea. The photosynthetic plant called algae are present here. More than half of the primary productivity of the world depends upon this photosynthetic algae. That means the primary productivity means the sunlight are absorbed by this photosynthetic algae and it utilized in order to produce a chemical energy. The light energy is trapped by this photosynthetic algae and it converts that light energy into chemical energy by the process photosynthesis, and that condition is called as primary productivity, and that process called as primary productivity. So more than half of the primary productivity of the world depends upon this photosynthetic algae, and other organisms also depend upon this photosynthetic algae for their existence because they are the primary producers in an ecosystem. Then it can do photosynthesis. So it can absorb carbon dioxide, it can sequester carbon dioxide and it can release oxygen. So the photosynthetic algae are the main suppliers of oxygen to this universe. So it can sequester carbon dioxide and it can release oxygen and maintain the ratio of oxygen in the atmosphere. Photosynthetic algae are very important. So in this video, I am going to tell you the habitat of algae and thallus organization of algae. So algae are autotrophs, they can do photosynthesis, they can prepare their own food. Then algae shows wide range of habitat. Algae are predominantly aquatic in nature. They can live in both marine and freshwater. So in marine means they can live in salt water, that is sea and ocean. For example, Gracilaria and Sargassum. So these two algae are macroscopic algae. Then the algae can grow in freshwater. Example, Oedogonium and Elatrix. The third one is, in this case, that algae can grow in soil or terrestrial environment. For example, Fricella and Vaucheria. The fourth one is endozoic algae. That means that algae can grow inside the animal body. Endozoic algae means that algae can grow inside the animal body. For example, Chlorella. Chlorella can live inside the body of sponges and hydra. Or in the case of Cladophora crispata, can live inside the cell of mollusca. Then halophytic algae. Some algae can live in harsh environment. They can thrive in harsh environment. So halophytic alga means that algae can grow in high salinity environment. High saline environment. Example, Junainilla salina. Then cryophytic algae. Cryophytic algae means that algae can grow in cold temperature. Algae can grow in cold temperature. Example, Chlamydomonas nivalis. They are also called as red snow because this algae can grow in the cold temperature. They import red color to that snow. That is why they are called as red snow. Then epiphytic algae. This algae can grow on the surface of the animals or plants. It can absorb nutrients and moisture from the atmosphere, and that type of algae is called as epiphytic algae. Example, Coriochet and Rhodinia. Then the eighth one is thermophytes or thermal algae. This algae can grow in hot springs. Example, Oscillatoria brevis, etc. Then the ninth one is lithophytes. Litho means rock. So that algae can grow in rocks, grown on rocks. Example nostoc and Gyrocapsa. Then the 10th one is epizoic algae. Epizoic algae means that algae can grow on the surface of animals and plants. Example Stygiocolanium. This Stygiocolanium can grow on the gills of fishes. So that's all about habitats. Still we have different types of algae regarding their habitats. So I have mentioned 10 types. So that is enough for us. Then I am going to tell you the Thallus organization of algae. Let me explain the Thallus organization of algae with the help of a flowchart. Thallus organization of an algae can be broadly divided into two types based on their level of organization. That means they are unicellular and multicellular. So this algae is made up of only one cell, and this type of algae, Thallus, is made up of many cells. In unicellular algae, the Thallus organization can be divided into two types. They are motile and non-motile. So that algae can move with the help of a flagella, and the another type, they do not possess flagella, so they cannot move. For non-motile Thallus organization of algae, example chlorella or Cyanophyceae. Then I am going to tell about the motile alga. The motile alga further divided into three classes or three types based on the flagella, based on their flagella. So first one is Chlorophyceae, class Chlorophyceae. So it is a green algae which possess equal flagella. The class Chlorophyceae possess equal flagella. Next, class Dinophyceae and Xanthophyceae bears unequal flagella. They possess unequal flagella. While in the case of Eugrinophyceae, the class Eugrinophyceae, they possess single flagellum at the anterior end. So first, we divide the Thallus organization of algae into two types, unicellular and multicellular. In the unicellular, again, it can be divided into two types based on their movement. One is motile and non-motile. So example for non-motile is chlorella, because they do not possess flagella. Then in motile, further they are divided into three: Chlorophyceae, Dinophyceae, Xanthophyceae and Eugrinophyceae based on their flagella. So Chlorophyceae contains equal flagella, Dinophyceae and Xanthophyceae contains unequal flagella, Eugrinophyceae contains single flagellum at the anterior end. Then I am going to tell about the multicellular Thallus organization of algae. The multicellular Thallus organization of algae can be divided into two types based on their organization: colonial organization or filamentous organization. Colony means the group of cells combined to form a colony. Filamentous means a long, a thread-like structure, and that structure is called as filamentous. So first I am going to tell about the colonial algae. So colonial algae can be divided into four types. They are synovial, palmelloid, dendrite, then rhizopodial. Synovial means that algal colony contains fixed number of cells, algal cells. Synovial means the algal colony contains fixed number of algal cells, and they are embedded in mucilaginous matrix. Example Volvox and Hydrodicta. Palmelloid means that algal colony contains indefinite number of algal cells. This algal colony contains indefinite number of algal cells, and they are embedded in mucilaginous matrices. Then dendrite alga means the variation of palmelloid alga is called as dendrite algae. Dendrite means branching colony. That colony contains branches. So that is why dendrite, they have mentioned dendrite, branching colony. Example chrysodendron. Example, chrysodendron. Then the final one is rhizopodial. This alga colony do not possess any locomotive organ, flagella, but they can able to move. They can show amoeboid movement. This type of algal colony shows amoeboid movement with the help of the cytoplasm outgrowth. With the help of the cytoplasm outgrowth, that is why they are called as rhizopodial colonial alga. Then filamentous alga. So filamentous alga means a thread-like structure, a long thread-like structure. The plant body looks a long thread-like structure. That is why they are called as filamentous. That filamentous alga can be divided into two types. They are unbranched and branched. Unbranched. That unbranched algae divided into three types. They are free floating, attached to substratum, and colonial. Free floating means they are not attached to the substratum. They are planktonic. They can swim anywhere because they are not attached to the substratum. Example, Spirogyra. The next type is attached to substratum. They are fixed to the substratum with the help of holdfast. Example, Phyllothrics. Colony means the group of algal cells combined group of, that is unicellular, not unicellular, similar cells of algal cells combined to form a colony, and they are free floating. Example, nostoc. Then branched. Heterotrichous. Branched algal cells can be, algal body or algal thallus can be divided into four types. Heterotrichous, pseudoparenchymatous, siphoneous, then parenchymatous. Heterotrichous means that algal body can be differentiated into two portions, upright portion and prostrate portion. Prostrate portion means horizontal portion, upright portion, the erect portion. So the plant body can be differentiated into two portions. One is prostrate portion, another one is upright portion. Example, Fricella. Then pseudoparenchymatous means that algal body, that algal thallus is made up of loose or close numerous branched filamentous combined to form a thallus, and they are embedded in mucilaginous matrix. Especially they are red algae, and that type of algae is called as pseudoparenchymatous algae. Example, Polysiphonia. Then the next one is siphoneous algae. That means the thallus do not divide with the septa. They do not contain the cross wall. So nuclei are free, and that condition is called as cenocytic condition, and that type of algae is called as siphonaceous algae. Example, Vaucheria. And the final one is parenchymatous algae. The cells can, in parenchymatous algae, the cells are dividing all direction and any essential filamentous structure is lost, and that type of algae is called as parenchymatous algae. Example, Alva, Fucus, Sargassum, etc. So that's all about thallus organization of algae. If you have any doubt, please clarify with me. Thank you very much for watching this video. Thank you.